Hey everybody, and welcome back to Middle-earth. This is Count MRVHS with another episode of our 4th Age Total War Dwarves campaign. We are on the AI's turn, a couple of turns after we left off last time, and Rune has just made a demand for overlordship, and we are going to, of course, reject that out of hand. It has actually been quite a while since I've played, so I am eager to get back into this and see where the campaign takes us. Now, I have made a decision with regard to our army in the west, or I guess the center of our campaign, right around Moria. We had an army, a pretty substantial one, just kicking around Austin Ethel after we took it, or bought it rather, off Tharbad. And the question I had was what to do with this force. We're allied with Tharbad, so I guess betray them is option A, right? Option B might be to circle down through here and attack Dunland, but we're trading with them, and we've bought Dol Baran from Rohan, where we are now training blunderbusses. This is our first unit of blunderbusses that's been recruited, and we're going to keep going with that. So this army didn't really have a lot to do, but I was a little hesitant to start moving them north, because to do so would be to leave this area undefended. Remember that Austin Ethel is completely undefended. There are no walls here. We cannot build anything here to increase its defenses. We can't build anything at all here, as a matter of fact. All we can do here is stuff mercenaries there, and of course benefit from the trade that we're enjoying with Rivendell and with Tharbad to our west. If Tharbad decides to betray us, we will probably lose this, but I'm confident that we can hold the Rivendell against them, and then we can just bring this army back down south. But the reason we're moving north is because I would like to consolidate my hold over the Misty Mountains and start grabbing some of these provinces up here. We need Gundabad for our victory conditions anyway. That's right up here. This is stuffed pretty full of orcs, wargs, trolls, maybe some rebel manish units as well. So we'll want to get that back. And then I'd like to maybe send this army back in this direction. There is a dwarven settlement right here, which is also on our victory conditions list. This is a full-fledged settlement. This is not a fort. So that means when we take it, if we grow the population, we can actually start training dwarves out of here, Orodengren. So we definitely will want to do that. On the other hand, we could keep that army around here and send it over to the west and grab some of these northern settlements. It looks like a Dunabar has these. I've decided that we're going to start a war with the Dunabar here to do this, and I would like to grab this as well. Lastbridge is currently held by rebels, and this is a very commanding position because it controls the only crossing of... is it the Bruinen? No, that's over here. I can't remember the names of the rivers. We'll have to get closer and see what that is. I don't know if this is the Grey Flood all the way up here. In any case, it'll control this crossing, and then it also controls the approach to the High Pass Stronghold, which we will also want to get back. So we can grab these strongholds to sort of control the map a bit. Yeah, so I guess that's what we're doing. Let me just check our recruitment. I trained a scout in the Rivendell, and I think I'm going to send him north just to see what's going on up here. We are doing a bit of building. I just this turn made a big investment in deep mines, which is going to pay off quite nicely for us. Let's see. Over here, I got my my general back into Nereg Zagil. He retrained the troops that were there, but as you can see, the population is still very low here. It's going to grow very slowly. So we're not in a position to train up the army that we really want to have to go into Rune. So what I'm going to do instead, and I've been doing this a little bit in the past few turns, is train up some units here in the north. And I'm going to grab some Dwarves of the Iron Hills just for the iconicity, I guess. And let's get some long axes too, just for a really strong unit. We're going to send, as soon as these 2 units are trained, I think I'm just going to send all of them down south, and we're going to march through, possibly through Dale's territory, maybe through North Rune, and we will hopefully be able to head down to Narek Zagil, join them up, and then head in that direction. We do have a good amount of money left to spend, so let's see what we can do. Let's see, over 9,000. That's good for a little bit of money. Moria's currently building, as is Hollowbold. I guess Loon is a place that really does need it. Although we get great discounts here, so I'm more inclined maybe to spend it in Gabilgathal. That'll give us, you know, a little bit. Now, as for those blunderbusses, not quite sure what I'm going to do with them yet. They're kind of a novelty in my mind. I like having them. I suppose if Rohan or Dunland decide to attack me, then they may be required to hold the fort. But they're not going to be enough by themselves. So we may have to give some thought to that. You know, one thing we could do... We are allied with Rohan, but we do not have military access with them. Theoretically, maybe we could get that and then shuttle them east, because Rohan is expanding this direction. It might be kind of cool to have blunderbusses on the eastern front against Rune. All right, let's get these troops headed down south. Now, I'm a little wary of marching on Dale's territory. And we're neutral with North Rune. I'm just worried that if I end my turn on territory that is owned by Dale, that they'll attack me. They're not supposed to, but I'm still concerned that will happen. So I think what we'll try to do is just meet up around here and then quick march maybe through North Rune's territory. If we end up at war with them, that's honestly less of a problem. Although Dale attacking me would be great excuse to incorporate their territories. Alright, but first things first. Looks like Rivendell is extremely lightly held. Let's just check the diplomacy real quick. Adunabar is at war with a bunch of units who are all my allies, and so I think we'll go ahead and do this. As the Dwarves, we are actually the only faction that can build sap points. It's kind of an interesting thing. You'll notice that none of these other guys can sap. Only the Dwarves have that function, so we can build sap points. Now, I don't know that I really want to do that here. Why not? But sapping has the flaw or the drawback of destroying the walls that you want to take. So I think I prefer to not do that. Now, if I can grab this settlement and then grab this, maybe I'll end up at peace with Adunabar again. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, this time we're going to spend in advancing Loon. And one of the things we have to keep in mind here, or we have to work towards, is public order. It's something you never have to worry about in your Dwarven settlements, or almost never. But when you start taking those Mannish settlements over, they are not as well disposed to you. So you do have to be a bit more diligent. Alright. Alright, looks like they've got just a unit of Grim Spears in there. Okay, so that's brought Dale into the war with the Adunabar, my attacking them. Harad and Khand are at war. It looks like Harad attacked Khand. That is not great. Although now Adunabar picked up a more powerful ally in the Empire of Harad. So Harondar started off well. They took Emin Arnin, but I'm thinking that they're not going to keep it here because Harad has moved into their territory. All right, we got another unit of blunderbusses at the outpost of Dol Baran, and a lot of buildings just came online. I don't think I want to play out this assault, although 9 seasons is kind of a long time. Let's just take a look at... Alright, this is still held by rebels, so is this. It might be good to grab this before any other faction has designs on it. So maybe let's do that. Let's save the game. So this is LP6. And we've got our sap points and everything, so... Okay, they get a family member here. He's going to be just a regular Adunabar Noble Cav unit and a unit of Grimspear. So this is not going to be the most thrilling, siege assault, but we'll get to use the sap points anyway. And the non-human campaigns tend to be somewhat light on battles, in my experience. The AI tends to be a bit hesitant to attack you, except in certain places. So you have some siege defenses, but there tends not to be a ton of open field battles, partly as a function of your low population and therefore small armies. Okay, so this is Rivendell, of course, is an elven settlement, and so it's got this style of battle map. Unique to the mod, of course. Webba designed this. A very tough place to attack when it is defended by elves in particular. And we will be able to defend this very nicely indeed. As you can see, there's really only 2 approaches here from the one gate. Actually, there's 2 gates in a settlement. Or 3. And then this other side pass. So what we're going to do... Alright, there's our sap point if we wanted to use it. You can see that these guys don't have the can sap ability, but my dwarves do. Pretty much every unit has that. Every dwarven unit, that is. I don't really want to risk them too much, but it's kind of iconic, isn't it? We should probably do it. I don't know if this matters, but I like to set them up kind of in the sort of formation that they're going to use when they sap. Looks like this will be a pretty safe way to send our Dunlending mercenaries, and we'll send them forward. I don't think they're going to set up on the walls to try to defend those. No, just the nobles. So you know what? We're going to halt that, and we'll let the sappers do the work here. I always loved how sapping works in Rome Total War. This is something that happens in vanilla, but you can see the sap line sort of extending as they dig. And I don't know if you can hear it, but that little shovel digging sound. It actually, the sound follows the point of digging, so they really put a lot of thought into this. I don't know why I find that so satisfying, but I guess it doesn't get a lot of play, which is kind of a shame. All right, there we go. The walls are tumbling. So, a couple of schools of thought here. One is I could send in my mercenaries to soak up the missile fire. I'm not sure that I want to do that. I think what we'll do is we'll run in our dwarven axe throwers. I know this is not going to be the most efficient way to do it, but we'll send him in. We'll grab the gates, and then we'll send in the rest of our dwarven units. And there we go. And we're just going to make a frontal assault here. They don't have any missile troops. Their cavalry is the biggest threat, of course, and we don't have any long spears or anything like that. But I think we should be okay. You know, if I had the patience, I could, you know, get another unit up on these walls and just capture all the towers, and then I could send units around this way. But the dwarves have such slow movement speed that I think I'm just going to soak up the deaths we're going to incur, just for the sake of expediting this particular battle. Now, I do want to protect my my general in this fight, because generals are very light on the ground in the Dwarven campaign, as you know. Okay. Those are the Iron Hills, still fresh. Alright, so I'm going to halt everybody else. You guys are evenly matched. Of course, we have the disadvantage of fighting uphill. We got the Dwarves of the Iron Hills in the fight here with those Mattocks. Should start doing some damage here. Not taking that many losses either. Down to 25. I think they started off with around 40. So we're getting them close to half strength. 90 men in this Grim Spears unit. I always like to climb the tower. Really cool looking design on these buildings. Alright, speed it up a bit. At this point, I'll send in my Durin's Guard. That's the end of that. Oh, the axe throwers are throwing now. There go the last of their cavalry. We'll just, let's see. Bring them around to the flanks, but I think my general will be able to handle this. This is the Tier 1 cultic unit, Grim Spears. Looking south here, we can see the Misty Mountains swing out to the east. They're not a strictly north-south range. And probably somewhere over there is the High Pass area, where we're going to be heading pretty soon, hopefully. Alright, and that's the end of that fight. So we lost 26 men, I guess. But we gained Rivendell, which in itself is not hugely valuable to us. It's an extremely small province, as you can see here. We'll just occupy because they like us, and it's got very low population. Let's see, is this Elven lands, or what is this? It's Elven lands, so I honestly don't know if we can train anything here. This does work as a settlement. But we may have to do this first. We may have to make it mannish before we can actually train anything. So let's go ahead and deal with the Dominion first. Got the House of Elrond here. This is an undestroyable building. It's just sort of representative of the former elven population. This is something that the elves, if you're playing as the elves and you capture Rivendell back from Adunabar, you can upgrade this, which you definitely want to do. Lets you train some great units. But for us, we're mostly just using this as a stepping stone. It's pretty secure. It'll bring us a little income. Eventually, maybe we can train stuff, but we're going to have a shorter road to that by taking Last Bridge. So to that end, I wonder if I can actually leave this. Well, actually, it's at 70. And we've got more mercenaries we can train here. So what I'm going to do is take these that I just grabbed and throw them back in there. So we got 4 units of archers. I do have more cav if I want them. I don't think I'm going to grab them just yet. They're pretty expensive, 400 per turn. And they're good, but I find myself not using them so much. I've got a single unit already. That should be fine for what I'm going to use them for. All right. Trained our second unit of blunderbusses. As I do that, I'm going to be disbanding these hireling spear loyalists. They're not great as garrison troops, coming in at just 12 a man. But they're all you have initially, so we may as well keep them for that purpose. All right, 11,000. So we're moving troops along here. We do want to get them down to Narreg-Zagil quickly. I wonder if I can ally with North Rune, and I can't because they're allied with Rune. So we're going to have to trespass for a few turns and hope they don't attack us. They've got a big stack here. We got some pretty good units, even though we'd be vastly outnumbered. Alright, we can retrain here, and I think this is just for upgrading purposes. Yeah, because we couldn't build anything here anyway, in terms of fresh units. While we've still got Andvari around, let's go ahead and build vaults. It's going to give us income, but importantly, it's going to allow us to train a scout down here. And that'll be great for spying out Rune's armies once we get enough troops. All right. All right, we've got the deep mines, and that has helped by somewhat. I can't remember what our income was last turn for projected profits, but 14,000 is what we're estimated to make next turn. Rohan and Dale are allied. Okay. So what will happen if Rohan attacks me? The problem, of course, is that once this falls, which I'm assuming it will relatively soon, Rohan is going to take this Dunlending settlement. They won't have any more Dunlendings around, and they'll be looking for another target. They are technically at war with the elves for whatever reason. I'm assuming there was a trespass that happened or something like that, because they're not attacking either of these settlements, though they are up around Langwick, so probably there was an elven ambush or something, some kind of trespassing that led to that war. Regardless, they are at war with the elves, so maybe that'll be enough to distract them from choosing me as that next target. Very happy to see that Tharbad has not attacked me at Austenethil, and that no one has besieged Lastbridge yet. So I will go ahead and do that. First, I want to send my spy around, and Adunabar is looking very, very weak up here, although they do still have Bree, and they do have some armies in the area, and it looks like they have these northern settlements also. So probably my war with them is going to continue. We'll go ahead and besiege Lastbridge. There's no need for sap points here, or you actually can't build them because the wall just isn't that type of wall. You can only sap with stone walls. Right, we've got a lot of money to spend. So upgrading this to a chief province would allow us to build deep mithril mines, which is going to increase trade goods even further. Land tax as well, although that's not actually applicable to us because we have dwarvish population that only functions with mannish population. It also lets us build a couple of things: Great Gatehouse of the Dwerodelf and the restored West Gate. These both give us some benefits in terms of trade. And what does this do as well? Well, if I were to go mannish with this settlement, it would allow me to train some more of those units, I guess. So spears, axemen, bowmen, Dunlendings, guards, hearth troops, riders. Actually, yeah, so it wouldn't give me anything extra in terms of training, but it would give me, let's see, skilled managed recruits. So I think this just means that this is the line of buildings from which those troops would be trained, because I'm not getting anything new by building that. But in any case, it's almost tempting to go mannish here because you get some really high tier guys, hireling hearth troops, and of course the population is going to be a lot better, so you can train a lot more. Like, still I can't train anything here. All right, we're gonna meet up these troops. Now I'm thinking, let's actually do this, and I'm not gonna move them onto this territory just yet. I think next turn I will. We'll have more movement points, and then we'll head down here, where Dale has less of a likelihood of backstabbing me en route. Alright, we get a lot of money. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want to spend it or how. I'll go for roads here in Hollowbold. Just help with movement speed primarily. As soon as we end up at war with Tharbad, which I'm assuming is going to happen at some point, we'll want to be able to move quickly over to Sarn Ford here. Gabilgathal, let's go with the vaults there. Still leaves us with about 5 grand. It might be good to spend this in Erebor. Since we do have a bit of mismanagement here, let's go with the Chamber of Laurel. Get rid of that. blunderbusses join the fold. We have provincial pacification, and Dunland has been spying on us down at Dol Baran. So they may attack, which honestly is fine. Alright. I could assault Last Bridge, but there's only 5 turns, and I'm kind of waiting. That'll give me a nice opportunity to build up Outland Dominion. Just 5 seasons for that. It's amazing. If you know playing any other faction in the mod, 5 seasons for Outland Dominion is just an incredible advantage that the dwarves get once you build up their iron industry buildings to give that increased building speed. Because otherwise you'd be looking at, you know, a dozen turns or so. So it really does help. And then as soon as that's done, the Last Bridge will fall, and we won't incur the penalties associated with having multiple settlements with no Dominion building present. All right, only 7 grand in the bank now. Let's head over here. I'll set up right next to a Dale army, a big Dale army. So that means if North Rune attacks me here, we'll have Dale on our side. So that'd be kind of a fun battle to fight, actually. I'm not really confident that's going to happen, but let's see. One thing before I forget is I do want to get just some garrison troops in these places. I emptied them. Of course, if the generals die, then we won't have any garrison at all there, so it's better to do that. Do have some mismanagement here. We'll cut that off with a Chamber of Lore. And in the Dwarves, we don't have a lot to work with. 2,400. So I guess we'll hold off. I mean, a tavern... Yeah, we'll just wait. Okay, Dale and Rune are at war, which they should have been anyway, but possibly there was some attempt at a ceasefire there. Alright. So, no attack. We'll head right down here into Dale territory, and then we'll move this army slowly in this direction. I don't expect that Dorwinian is going to be in a position to start trouble with me, so we'll march down through their territory and hopefully that will work out okay. We do see a big army of Rune in the area, so I'd like to get those troops down pretty soon. Go ahead and train a spy here, though, so we can actually check out what these armies are. And... let's go with the Chamber of Lore. This is giving me Mithril Armory. So this upgrades armor. But requires deep mithril mines in Moria first. So it's not going to give me any upgrades just yet. It's not going to allow me to train anything new. So I'll have to upgrade Moria to those deep mithril mines first. So meanwhile, I may as well go with a roadhouse for a bit of extra income. And in Erebor, we've got the same kind of thing. So let me just check out in the west, though. I don't want to neglect those places. Yeah, we definitely don't want to neglect the Dwarves. Alright, we'll go with the mustering halls here. think that's all we're going to do this turn. So, coming up, we're going to, well, we're just going to be waiting until we finish building here, and then we'll have Last Bridge. Possibly then we'll move over to the High Pass Stronghold before the Bjornings can get it. And then from there, we have a pretty easy route up into friendly territory of Framsburg, allowing us to get over to Gundabad. In the south, we're still working on blunderbusses. And eventually we'll have them to send in some direction. And we'll have some troops, hopefully in the next episode, so that we can start pushing east from Nereg Zigil. So that's where I think we're going to leave it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day, everybody, and I will catch you in the next one.